Hi everyone, this is Dr. K. Kannan, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, RMK College of Engineering and Technology. In this lecture video, I am going to talk about the basics of optical fiber communication and its generation. So what is fiber optic timeline? So during 1951, light transmission through bundle of fiber was established, and where we have flexible fiber scope used in medical field. During 1957, first optical fiber endoscope tested on a patient. 1960, invention of laser, so development of the, and in 1966, Charles Cow proposed a cladded fiber cables with lower losses as a communication medium. During 1970s, developed fiber with losses below 20 dB per kilometer. During 1970, first semiconductor diode laser was working at a room temperature developed. During 1977, GT in Los Angeles and ATT Chicago sends a live telephone signal through optical fiber. The wavelength of 850 nanometer multimode fiber, the kilometer is 9 kilometers. That was the first fiber optic link. During 1980, second generation systems where we used 1300 nanometer single mode fiber of power loss 0.5 dB per kilometer. Then third generation 550 nanometer wavelength we used, and for single mode fiber where the optical loss per kilometer is 0.2 dB, where the erbium doped fiber amplifier used with data rate of 5 gigabits per second. During 1993, Bell Labs sends 10 billion bits per second through 20,000 kilometers of fiber using WDM technique. And 1996, Bell Labs and Fusion able to send a trillion bits per second through single optical fiber. And 2000, towards achieving a terabits per second of data, leading to all optical network. Now, this is evolution of optical fibers. Initially, during 1975, first generation was used. The capacity distance is 10 power 1. And 1980, second generation was implemented, and the capacity distance is 10 power 2. And during 1985, third generation, and 1990 to 1995, in between that, where we have fourth generation, and 2000, we are updating the fourth generation. The generation of optical fiber, first generation where bit rate of optical fiber communication is 45 MB per second with repeater spacing of up to 10 kilometers. And for second generation developed for commercial use in the early 1980s. So during the second generation, the operating wavelength is 0.3 micrometer, where we used indium gallium arsenide phosphide semiconductor laser. The multimode fiber dispersion, and 1991, the single mode fiber was revolved to greatly improve system performance. During 1987, these systems were operating at a bitrate of up to 1.7 gigabits per second with the repeater spacing up to 50 kilometers. This was the second generation. And for third generation, fiber operated at the wavelength of 1.55 micrometer, where the loss is 0.2 dB per kilometer, where the indium gallium arsenide photodiode were used. So the dispersion shifted fiber designed to have a minimal dispersion is 1.55 micrometer. The third generation system to operate commercially 2.5 gigabits per second with the kilometer of 100 kilometer. Then for fourth generation optical communication system used optical amplification to reduce the need for repeaters and wavelength division multiplexing to increase the data capacity. Doubling of system capacity every 6 months separating in 1992 until a bitrate of 10 terabits per second was reached by 2001. Then fifth generation optical communication is extending the wavelength range over which WDM system can operate, where the ranges of wavelength it is 1.53 to 1.57 micrometer. Thank you all.